If you like my opens, you'll love my new book, Don't Lie to Me, available for order now. And here with my reaction to my open and much more, House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy joins me now. Good evening, Congressman McCarthy.
Good evening, Judge. Thanks for having me back.
All right, Congressman, I talked about Congressman Swalwell and his entanglements with this Chinese spy, after which he was allowed to then sit on the National Intelligence Committee by Nancy Pelosi. How does that happen when he was involved with this spy for years, and apparently his family, as recently as this week, his father and brother were still in Facebook contact?
This is very serious, and it goes much deeper than just Eric Swalwell. We now find, I recently read today, that there's an ethics complaint against Eric Swalwell, too. Remember what the Ethics Committee is. This is the place that people get to see and keep American secrets. It's something that most members of Congress don't get to see or read. You only get placed on this committee by one person, your leader. And Nancy Pelosi placed Eric Swalwell on this committee as a very junior member, which is very difficult to do, even though she knew this information, and now she kept it. So did Adam Schiff. But what's even more telling to me is, why did Eric Swalwell just a week ago criticize the Director of Intelligence, John Radcliffe, on his report about what China is doing? Why did he take China's side and attack an American? It raises more questions. When did the Speaker know it? What did she know? And what actions did she or Adam Schiff take?
Well, in addition to that, I suspect that there will be a review of whatever legislation he was involved in or may have voted on as it relates to China, and whatever his actions were legislatively. Will there not be?
Well, I'm very concerned because up to the majority, it seems as though Nancy Pelosi is doing nothing about it. But there's even more to this. Why did Nancy Pelosi and the Democratic leadership pull out of the bipartisan task force on China? They did it in the last days. Why did Adam Schiff criticize the President Trump when he shut down that corrupt consulate of China's in Houston, where everybody knew all the spies were? Yeah, he criticized the president about it. What does the Chinese Communist Party have on the Democrats? I don't know what it is, but it must be quite powerful. And how can Eric Swalwell stay? Go ahead.
Well, it appears that the Chinese have this vast plan where they're infiltrating politicians, a lot of them in California, Silicon Valley, and lower levels, whether they're mayors, and this one in particular, Christine Fang admits to having sex with at least 2 mayors, and curious, Swalwell won't say anything about whether or not he had any physical involvement with her, and he gets away with that, and that's the end of it. And they then bundle money for them as they move up the political ladder. So you have Swalwell from city council going to Congress and in a minute running for president.
That's exactly. Think about it. The Manchurian candidate here of Eric Swalwell. They found him in the city council. They bundled money to help him get to Congress. Who knows? And another question has that, did someone try to influence Nancy Pelosi to put him on the Intel Committee? Then he's running for president. But what's worse about this, the chair of the Intel, Adam Schiff, knew this. He knew this at the whole time they were trying to impeach the president. Everything that Eric Swalwell accused the president of, he did. And Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, the third in line to the presidency, knew about this and kept him on the committee. The real question will come January 3rd. Now that members of Congress know this information, and only the leader can put them on the committee, if you vote for Nancy Pelosi as Speaker, you're also voting to put Eric Swalwell back on the Intel Committee and Adam Schiff as the chair while knowing this information.
And this is all up to Nancy Pelosi if she's reelected as Speaker.
She puts on she names the Democrats to the Intel Committee, and I name the Republicans to the Intel Committee. It is the hardest committee to get on.
Interesting, and he gets on it. And the fact that he and Adam Schiff, both of them on the Intel Committee, did nothing but trash President Trump on a Russia collusion hoax that even Mueller and 19 pit bulls that he hired couldn't find an iota of evidence on, and yet they continue to lie to the American people. You know, there is a deep state in this country, and it is the Democrats in sync with big tech and the mainstream media. And if you're not on top of this every day, you don't know that what's going on.
So true. And for this to carry on, remember, this isn't the first Democrat to get in trouble. Senator Feinstein, the body person, the person who drove her, who heard all of her phone calls, was a Chinese spy for 20 years. They focus on Silicon Valley. And when the director of Intel, John Radcliffe, brought out his report, he was explaining of how vast the Chinese are spying on us, down to the city council level, down to mayors. And who is the one congressman to go out and attack that and say it was wrong? Eric Swalwell. I wonder why he said that. It just raises more questions, why there is now an ethics complaint against him, and why he should not be serving on the Intel committee.
On that committee. Real fast. Now, positive news on the vaccine. Why does it seem that Joe Biden is trying to take credit for this vaccine? And don't you think we should call it the Trump vaccine, given everything that he's done?
Well, the president deserves tremendous amount of credit of the thousands of millions of lives he's going to save because of Operation Warp Speed. He told the American public what he was going to do. He pushed to get us to this point by keeping it safe and secure. And we're not having one vaccine. We're going to have numerous vaccines. And his ability to have those dosages already made. So as soon as that FDA acts, that the American public can start taking the vaccine. The president deserves credit. History is going to be very kind to what he was able to do. And people are going to study this because this is remarkable what he was able to move industry, government in a time of crisis that, remember, was created in China, something we did not invite, but President Trump is going to defeat.
Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, thanks so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you, Judge.
And still ahead, Trump campaign attorney Jenna Ellis.